Taurus, you have never been ordinary. It is not your slowness, not your silence, nor even your steadfastness that makes you different. It is the final number in the year you were born. A quiet code, enduring like deep earth, has shaped how you love, how you endure, and how you change the world, even when you never raise your voice. For hundreds of years, careful observers have noticed something strange. Two Taurians may share the same zodiac sign, yet their lives unfold in vastly different directions. Not because one tried harder, but because the year of birth etched a distinct frequency into their soul. Today, we count down 10 numbers, 10 doors of destiny, and reason has shown will not only help you understand yourself more deeply, it may also free you from blaming yourself for who you have always been. Before continuing, leave a comment. What is your zodiac sign, and what year were you born? Your sharing may become a mirror of light for someone else. Reason 10. If you were born in a year ending with the number 9 Taurus, the one who closes cycles that have reached their time, Taurus born in a year ending with 9 never enters another person's life by accident. You often arrive when things have gone on too long. An exhausted relationship, a lifeless job, a belief already rotted from within. Not loudly, not through dramatic destruction, simply your steady presence causes what is no longer true to quietly fall away. You do not like endings. In fact, Taurus number 9 is often so loyal that you are willing to endure for a very long time just to keep a promise to your own heart. But when you finally decide to close a door, it is never impulsive. It is the result of hundreds of silent moments, of patience, and of asking yourself again and again, is this still worthy of my staying? Your power lies here. You do not cut ties through resentment. You leave in stillness, leaving behind a deep emptiness, deep enough to force others to look back at themselves. And only then do they realize that the presence of Taurus was once their anchor, the solid ground they had unknowingly taken for granted. The lesson Taurus number 9 carries is not about loss, but about liberation. You teach the world that some endings are not meant to destroy, but to restore dignity to emotions, honesty to love, and peace to a soul that has been weary for far too long. Reason 9. If you were born in a year ending with the number 8 Taurus, the one who brings emotional strength into the material world, Taurus, born in a year ending with 8 possesses a rare form of power, stability built from emotions that have been tempered and refined. You do not pursue success for its shine. You pursue it because you need ground strong enough to protect what you love. Family, promises, those who believed in you when you had nothing. You understand value not only money, but time, effort, and devotion. Every step you take is slow, solid, and intentional. From the outside, people may think you are practical, even cold, but the truth is that within you lives a deeply loyal heart, always wanting to build a safe world for those who are allowed to stay by your side. What is curious is this. The more humble Taurus number 8 becomes, the more prosperity flows toward you. Not because you are ambitious, but because your energy is not chaotic. You do not waste emotion on fleeting things. You pour it into nurturing, preserving, and growing the way the earth quietly creates harvests. The profound lesson for Taurus number 8 lies in balance. You are gently reminded that true strength is not about controlling everything, but about keeping your heart soft even while standing firmly in the world. When you do this, abundance no longer feels like a burden. It becomes a healing current, flowing from you into the lives of those you love. Reason 8. If you were born in a year ending with the number 7 Taurus, the silent guardian of truth, Taurus born in a year ending with 7 does not live on the surface of life. You sense everything at deeper layers, where emotions have not yet found words, where truth has not yet taken clear shape. You do not need much evidence to know what is real. Your intuition works like roots sinking deep into the soil, quiet, yet never losing its way. You are often misunderstood as closed off, distant, or hard to read, but the truth is that you simply do not wish to speak shallow things. Taurus number 7 opens their heart only when they feel safe, when emotions are respected, and when their presence is not exploited. Your loyalty is never loud, but once given, it is nearly absolute. You can see through beautiful words that are hollow inside. You sense misalignment even when everything appears fine. Because of this, you often withdraw early, not out of fear, but because you refuse to betray your own true feelings. Your silence is not avoidance, it is a way of protecting the soul. The lesson of Taurus number 7 lies in presence. You do not need to hide forever in your inner world to preserve your purity. When you allow that quiet wisdom to touch the ground through small actions, patience, and kindness, you become a spiritual anchor for others. Not through advice, but through a steadiness that makes others feel safe simply by being near you. If you were born in a year that ends with the number 6, Taurus, the one who carries the healing energy of the lineage. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 6, often carries emotions in their heart that do not entirely belong to the present. You are sensitive to the sorrow of others, to wounds that have not yet healed, to things that were never spoken aloud within families, relationships, and collective memory. You love with a heart that has grown accustomed to enduring, and because of that, you love very deeply. You are often the one who stays longer than necessary, not because you are weak, but because your loyalty is too strong. Taurus number 6 believes that if you are patient long enough, if you love sincerely enough, everything will soften. And sometimes that is true. Your presence has the power to soothe restless souls, to soften tightly closed hearts. But because of this, you can easily forget your own boundaries. You carry the pain of others until you yourself grow weary without knowing why. You feel responsible for being okay, for keeping everything peaceful, for being the one who does not hurt anyone. Your emotional strength is so great that you forget you, too, need healing. The profound lesson for Taurus number 6 is this: healing does not mean self-sacrifice. When you learn to place yourself first, to rest, to say no, to listen to your own body and emotions, your healing energy becomes purer, stronger, and no longer exhausts you. At that point, you are not just the one who keeps the peace, but a steady source of comfort, fertile ground for those who truly deserve to stay. Reason 6. If you were born in a year that ends with the number 5, Taurus, the one born to break invisible cages. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 5, carries within a very beautiful contradiction. On the outside, stability. On the inside, a quiet longing for freedom that never turns reckless. You do not rebel loudly. You simply, little by little, can no longer endure the patterns that suffocate your soul. You sense invisible cages very clearly. A relationship that forces you to shrink yourself. A safe path that no longer nourishes your heart. A social role that requires you to stay silent for far too long. And when Taurus number 5 leaves, it is not an escape, but a decision weighed with both heart and patience. What makes you different is this: you do not destroy in order to be free. You simply refuse to continue living out of alignment with your true feelings. That loyalty to yourself makes you a mirror for others, showing that freedom does not have to be chaotic, but can be calm, gentle, and kind. The lesson for Taurus number 5 lies in the depth of commitment. You do not need to abandon all bonds to be yourself. When you learn to choose carefully, staying where you are still allowed to breathe, love, and grow, your freedom no longer opposes stability. It becomes a mature form of loyalty, where you are both true to yourself and faithful to what you hold dear. Reason 5. If you were born in a year that ends with the number 4, Taurus, the one who builds foundations for lasting things. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 4, carries the soul of a builder. You do not like to talk much about dreams. You work with them small steps, repeated days, efforts no one sees. In a world intoxicated with speed, you choose slowness, and it is that slowness that creates a depth no wind can sweep away. You have the ability to turn chaos into order, tangled emotions into a sense of safety. Others come to you when they need an anchor, not flowery advice, but the feeling of standing on solid ground. Your loyalty shows through action, staying, carrying responsibility, keeping promises, even when no one is watching. But Taurus number 4 can also become trapped within the very structure you built. You fear change because you understand the cost of rebuilding from the ground up. You endure for so long, believing that if you just try a little harder, everything will be fine. Your greatest strength is also your greatest challenge. The profound lesson for Taurus number 4 is this: stability does not mean standing still. When you allow yourself to adjust, to loosen, and to restructure what no longer fits, you are not destroying the foundation, you are bringing it back to life. And then, your steadfastness is no longer a burden, but a precious gift for those who lean on you. Reason 4. If you were born in a year that ends with the number 3, Taurus, the one who speaks more through presence than words. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 3, does not need to say much to be heard. There is something in your gaze, in the way you sit in stillness, in your calmness, that naturally slows others down. You communicate through emotional energy that has been carefully distilled, unhurried, unshowy. You understand that not every truth needs to be shouted. Some things should only be spoken when the heart is ripe enough, when the listener is ready enough. And so, Taurus number 3 often stays silent for a very long time, not because you do not know what to say, but because you respect the weight of words. When you do speak, others feel the truth in every sentence, as if those words had been nurtured deep in the soil for a long time before taking form. Many things inside the heart, more than necessary. Emotions left unspoken begin to grow heavy, not because they are bad, but because they have nowhere to flow. The lesson for Taurus number 3 is this: truth spoken with love is never a burden. When you allow yourself to express gently, honestly, without defense, your voice becomes medicine, not to persuade anyone, but to free yourself from the silence you have carried for too long. Reason 3. If you were born in a year ending with the number 2, Taurus, the one who senses both sides of emotion. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 2, lives in a very delicate inner world. You feel what others say aloud and what they quietly hide. You see tenderness in those who appear strong and recognize insecurity behind composed smiles. Your heart works like an emotional scale, always seeking harmony. You dislike conflict, not out of fear, but because you understand the cost of rupture. You are often the one in the middle, listening, mediating, yielding. Your loyalty shows itself in this way. You do not rush to choose sides. You choose people. Yet that very gift sometimes leads you to forget your own feelings. You easily hesitate, easily wonder, am I too sensitive? This sevens. The truth is, you are not overly sensitive, you simply feel more deeply than others. And when you try to keep everything balanced, you may unknowingly place yourself last. The profound lesson for Taurus number 2 is this: harmony does not require you to disappear. When you dare to stand with your own feelings calmly, without defense, you do not break balance. You create a new kind of fairness, where loyalty is no longer endurance, but mutual respect. Reason 2. If you were born in a year ending with the number 1, Taurus, the silent initiator. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 1, is rarely credited for the beginnings they create. You do not enter others' lives with drums or spotlights. You arrive softly, a sincere sentence, a steady presence, a moment of staying when others leave. Yet from there, a chain of change quietly begins to spread. You are a sower of seeds. Not seeds of ambition, but seeds of truth, of sincere emotion, of a sustainable way of living. You never force anyone to change. You simply live true to your values, and that alone is enough to make others ask themselves, could I live more honestly? Tenchu as time and stand vastas. Taurus number 1 often leaves before seeing the results. Not because of impatience, but because your role is not to stay in control. Your loyalty is not tied to possession, but to respect for another's journey. You trust that once a seed is planted in the right soil, it will grow in its own way. The lesson for Taurus number 1 is letting go without guilt. You do not need to stay to prove your worth. What you offered, sincerity, stability, genuine emotion, was already enough to create a beginning. When you believe that, you no longer see yourself as someone who comes and goes, but as one who quietly changed the direction of an entire life. Reason 1. If you were born in a year ending with the number 0, Taurus, the bearer of peace's origin. Taurus, born in a year ending with the number 0, often carries a very strange feeling. You are here, yet you do not seem to fully belong to this noisy world. You do not chase, do not compete, do not need to prove yourself to anyone. You exist like the Mother Earth, simply by being present. Everything slows down. You sense life at a depth beneath the surface. You understand that not every action must be rushed, not every emotion must be reacted to. Your emotional strength lies in your ability to remain with yourself without panic, without self-denial. This is why others, when near you, feel safe in a way they cannot quite name. But Taurus number 0 can also feel out of place. You do not resonate with pretense, with hurried rhythms, with relationships that exist only on the surface. At times, you wonder, am I too different, too stramum? The truth is, you were not born to dissolve. You were born to hold a still point in a world that spins too fast. The greatest lesson and also the greatest gift of Taurus number 0 is presence. When you stop trying to fit in, stop doubting your slowness, you become the place others return to when they are weary. Not to be saved, but to remember what it feels like to be themselves. And that is why reason has shown does not need drama. Because Taurus number 0 reminds us of something deeply human, deeply true. Peace is not escaping the world, but daring to stay grounded without losing your heart. Dear Taurus, if you have walked this journey all the way to here, then perhaps something in your heart has gently shifted, not loudly, not explosively, just a quiet recognition that you were never wrong for being slow, never weak for being silent, never lost for staying longer than others. Each number in your birth year did not come to imprison you in destiny, but to explain why you love the way you do, endure the way you do, and walk at your own distinct rhythm. You do not need to resemble any other Taurus. You only need to remain loyal to the frequency planted in your soul from the very first day. Some Taurus come to begin. Some Taurus come to heal. Some Taurus come to build, to release, to complete, or simply to be there as a quiet anchor for a weary world. And if there is one thing Taurus silently teaches us, it is this: strength does not have to wound anyone, wisdom does not need to speak loudly, and true love is always steadfast, even when unseen. So if today you are still walking quietly, still choosing kindness over noise, still staying loyal to your heart in a hurried world, rest assured, you are not slower than others. You are simply moving at the rhythm of the earth. But that same carefulness sometimes causes you to hold yourself back. You fear hurting others, fear being misunderstood, fear breaking fragile peace, and so you keep it inside.